Well, if it isn't me finally making another Loud House video after I forgot to do so the previous 2 days. This is for a couple different reasons. Firstly, let's talk about those community posts. Remember how I said last episode that I wasn't a quitter and all that? Well, I did decide to make a post afterwards asking if you were actually having fun with the Loud House review series. And, well, people said yes, they were having a lot of fun with it, but they could probably tell that I wasn't really enjoying this process anymore. And so they voted mostly in a majority to say, hey, you can just stop if you want to, which I'd say is pretty nice. Most of that poll is mostly you can stop if you want to, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you. I do feel like a lot of what I've done for this series has been really cut down from my original vision, honestly. I bought that entire green screen because I was going to film all the videos on a green screen, but after I just filmed the intro for the first episode, it just wasn't really going well at all, let's just put it that way. I just didn't like how it turned out all too much. That being said, I'm not against doing it again, using the green screen again to do my things and stuff videos. It's just that I couldn't possibly do it in a daily format kind of thing, as like I could for voiceover and speeding up Bloons Tower Defense 6 gameplay. Realistically, these videos take me like 2 hours to do. Most of it is going to be doing the reviewing part, and the editing, well, sadly kind of went by the wayside, and again, I kind of didn't want that to be the case, but I had to push it out daily, so yeah. What didn't help is that I had really strict shifts that I had to do on Thursday and Friday because I wasn't home on Thursday until 9 o'clock, and I just didn't have an episode planned for... I didn't even have a death percent planned for Friday, so yeah, that's why the, the Geometry Dash one exists. And also that one was supposed to be a little bit longer, you know, a little bit something at the end, but like, I mean... fucking copyright, so that was really cool. Anyways, in my second community post, I basically detail, I think, what would be the problems with me doing a series like this. Definitely going in blind to a series you know literally nothing about, and dedicating an entire 26 days of your life to reviewing episodes from that series. I think if I actually like the thing that I'm talking about, maybe it would have been a nicer process to do. It's like, oh yes, I get to watch this show, as opposed to, oh great, now I gotta make another episode. Isn't that just fun? Now, hopefully, I've said enough times that the Loud House itself is not a bad show. I made this entire series partly in contrast to how I was talking about in the Cringe Fests. I'm not saying that you're a bad person if you like the Loud House or anything, and really, I was kind of expecting me to somewhat enjoy this series, but after watching like 12 episodes of the series so far, I noticed that the franchise is just kind of meh. This entire first season, I understand it isn't the best version of the Loud House, but it is the very start, so it would be one of the stronger foots. Apparently to some fans, Season 4 onwards are actually the bad parts of the show. Meanwhile, everything at this point is supposed to be alright, so partly that's why I wanted to talk about Season 1 as opposed to talking something about the movies, which, again, I've probably said multiple times, would have been probably a lot more fun to do. Especially because No Time to Spy was basically the one thing that kicked off my channel to begin with. Like, seriously, this is how many subscribers we had in the intro for the first episode? This is how many I have now. Wow. Just, wow, man. Thank you. The fact that I was able to jump up this high, and I'm still increasing as the days progress, is absolutely amazing to me because... just from 2 videos, really, the Loud House Cringe Fests, it's amazing, honestly. And the fact that the second video was actually surpassed the first as well is also kind of interesting, now ain't it? Sadly, I don't think I'm really seeing any returns from that video, but whatever. Now, you may or may not have noticed that I haven't really talked about any episodes yet. So, here's the deal. I decided to completely black out what episodes we're going to be talking about today, because as this is going to be basically the final episode for me talking about the Loud House, I have to talk about some interesting episodes, let's put it that way. More explicitly, I'll be talking about the Greenhouse and One of the Boys, some of the most infamous episodes in the first season of the Loud House, because I feel like that's a pretty decent way to wrap things up, now ain't it? Now, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do for a second episode. I knew I wanted to talk about one of the boys because it's one of the most infamous episodes in the show. But I really couldn't find, like, another contender for, like, the worst episode in the season. So, I don't know, Greenhouse. Let's talk about that as well. Now then, before Paramount Plus charges me again, let's take a look at these episodes. The first one we'll talk about is The Greenhouse. In this episode, Lincoln has a project to try and reduce his sister's energy usage, even though he lives in a house with 10 sisters, so automatically this episode is really questionable. It's especially cool when everyone at school basically bullies him for having 10 sisters and having a really high energy bill. Then again, I'm not really surprised. Lenny's into NFTs after all. That's not an actual part of the episode, but it would be fucking hilarious, though. In an episode about greenhouse energies and Looney, she's just fucking minting NFTs. That'd be hilarious. Don't worry, Lincoln, I'm just generating some new style pictures. I just got it from the magic thing of Dolly 3. While Lincoln is showcasing how much energy his family uses, one of the twin sisters, the princess one, I still don't care to learn these characters' names. They're all L names, which I admire the tenacity to name every kid after L's, but like, it's harder for me to differentiate them, and there's 11 characters. You can't ask me to remember all these guys' names, okay? Anyways, as I was saying, she's running around in a car that produces fossil fuel waste, even though that it's supposed to be an electric car, because that's what those small cars are supposed to be about, but like, whatever, I guess. It's unimportant for the episode, I guess. I don't know, it's just kind of dumb. Anyways, the prospects of saving the polar bears are basically all the sisters need in order to try and change their lives for the better. Kinda, sometimes they have to be convinced. Again, I kinda don't care about learning their names, but one of the twins, this time the tomboy one, is like babysitting a bunch of reptiles and has a furnace going on. It's just like, I mean, they're cold-blooded, Lincoln. You're kinda, she's doing this for a reason, you know? Lisa's now using Lily's diapers to fuel her machines. This is great. Yeah, this is an amazing episode so far. I honestly have no clue exactly what Lucy's doing in this episode. She's just painting her room black or something, and Lincoln's all like, fuck you, wear some sunglasses. I don't get it. Okay, I know this is another example of me complaining about cartoony physics, but Lynn Jr. literally brought a refrigerator out, turned it on, put the freezer out towards like this giant pool of water. Immediately it freezes, and then Lincoln closes the door, it immediately breaks, and then he gives her a surfboard where she rides waves. What are you talking about? That's not how any of this shit works. What the fuck? So they're finally in the green, but uh-oh, plot contrivance. Lincoln has to go to a video game tournament and use his computer specifically in order to actually participate in the tournament, so he's gonna go ahead and hide it in his pants, making it look like he ate the computer, because that was my first thought. Lucy has a funny line here saying that, yes, she's starting to become a sibling hater. I'm with her on this entire thing, honestly. But then again, I guess that's just the main premise of the show now, ain't it? This whole in the red kind of contrivance is honestly getting ridiculous. Especially because I understand that this is kind of the main problem with the episode, but like, everyone's getting graded on equally, which Lincoln has 10 sisters, and Clyde is a lone child, and they're both being compared similarly. It's like, that's not a good thing, but does that really equate to this episode really being the worst? Realistically, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I can't differentiate this from the last episodes that I've covered, because the last episodes that I've covered, it just all feels the same, weirdly enough. I hope one of the boys is definitely different, because it's the most infamous episode of the series. But as it's standing right now with the greenhouse, it just feels the same. It feels like the same as the other videos that I talked about, which are supposed to be some of the better episodes in the series. It's just like, I don't even, man. Anyways, we also learned in this episode that Lenny actually doesn't need food because Lincoln brought down the refrigerator and she was just fine. I understand that she's a stupid one and all that, but like, I like to imagine that she doesn't actually need food or water. Okay, so you know that one section in Super Paper Mario where you have to grind for rubies? Yeah, that's what Lincoln does. They end up winning the contest! Wow, how cool! I love how everyone in this ending section has their wrist communicator thingy that has, like, showcasing how much energy their house wasted. All of them are red, so that's just amazing. They went right back to doing whatever the fuck what they were doing. after that. Amazing. Lincoln then showers outside with a moist towelette. Let's now talk about one of the boys. I sure hope it's about as bad as people say it is, because after the last episode, I don't know. I understand that that episode wasn't like universally hated like this one is, but let's see how well this goes. Ironically, both of these episodes have Clyde in them, and in this episode specifically, he fantasizes about Lori running on the beach in her swimsuit. Amazing. Also, she has no shoes on. Amazing. Man, I really love Nickelodeon. I really love them so much, man. I just can't wait to not be done with this franchise. I can't really wait. Oh, man, I always want to talk about the Loud House for all and forever, and just like, let's just get this shit over with. In this episode, Lincoln gets pissy that he can't stick his hands inside of the communion containers and just, burp in front of his sister's face. Damn, man. Aw, man, that's such a bad thing for Lincoln. Aw, how sad for him. Not only that, sometimes his sisters are supportive of him and Ronnie Ann, which, actually, considering that this is the second time I mentioned Ronnie Ann, is kind of interesting. Because, again, canonical girlfriend, but, whatever, I guess. Also, I don't know if this is my, quote, feminine side coming out, but I always liked kind of going to the mall, especially considering the fact that it's becoming really outdated. I mean, come on. Some of the stores like Spencer's and, those weird comic book stores and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes a GameStop is in there. I don't know. I like going inside malls. Thinking you're being a little bitch is all I'm saying. Anyways, Lisa, the smart one, decides to open a fucking portal to an alternate dimension, and people complain that magic and dragons exist in the Loud House movie when Lisa's just able to do this bullshit throughout the entire time, doing literal genius level, actual trans-timelineal fucking travel. But, but dragons exist. I don't fucking know, man. I understand the Loud House movie isn't particularly good, but, people complaining about it, it's particularly the magic element, it's just what? The series already does that, doesn't it? And I understand that most of this has also been Lynn and trying to basically make an invention or some crap like that, but, even so, that's still, not the case. That, it's still fantastical elements inside of this series that's, to some people, is really grounded, so, I don't know. This is just my final bit of the Loud House, so I think I need to talk about everything, don't I? Lincoln then finally visits the alternate dimension and all that crap, but honestly, some of these characters' voices are just, too similar, but I don't know. Really interesting, though, naming your first son Loki, though. Anyways, Lincoln got exactly what he wanted, and he's having fun. Man, I wonder if this is going to turn into one of those episodes where, things are going to go great. He wishes for something, things go great for, 3 seconds, and then the rest of the episode's how horrible it is, and then he goes back and be like, I guess the lesson of this episode is that I actually had it really cool. It's just my God. It's just no, just no. One way that people say they don't really enjoy this episode is because, well, all the Loud brothers act the exact same versus the Loud sisters, and it's just I don't know, and try and differentiate between the Loud brothers and the Loud sisters, you kind of have to do some more exaggeration, but I don't know. I don't know if that really holds any water particularly, especially the sex system part. It's just I don't know. I think more so the episode's conflict is kind of making the characterization of these characters worse because of the fact that, well, we got to showcase really fast about how good Lincoln has it typically in the Loud House, having sisters instead of brothers and all that stuff. But yeah, some of the jokes inside of the bedroom is just kind of stupid because it's just all oh, Lincoln now has to sleep with Lynn and Lucy, even though that's not their characters' names, but I don't care. The jokes they tell there is just all okay, you could have just said that in the regular Loud House, but okay, I guess. I don't know. The one character that's supposed to be the male version of the rocker girl, I still don't know her name, gives Lincoln a swirly after he realizes the bathroom is disgusting. He goes, "Get it, boys are disgusting!" Or I guess forget what I said about the sexism remark, now did I? Also, I understand that Lincoln's 11 or something, but I mean, come on, the kissing boo-boo thing, come on, that's ridiculous. So, Ronnie Ann exists in this universe now? What? This is an alternate dimension. Wouldn't Lincoln be gay in this universe then? Again, especially with this part right here where Lincoln basically is getting piled on because he's going to go have a date with Ronnie Ann. Again, I feel like this is more so the episode characterizing these characters as bad people because Lincoln wished for something, more so than any kind of sexism remarks. I just don't understand where people are coming from with this, honestly. Also, at this point in the episode, wouldn't Lincoln already be done with the 24 hours, considering the fact he left at like fucking 3 in the morning? But you know what? I guess nothing really mattered, considering the fact that it was all just a dream. My favorite kind of episode conclusion. It's all just a dream. Nothing in the episode really mattered. I mean, I guess then again, it wasn't really supposed to be that much of a permanent change in the Loud House. It's supposed to be a what-if episode. So, yeah, I guess Lucy not making some bullshit technological miracle by being able to travel through fucking timelines, you know, typical stuff. But, I mean, the fact that I couldn't decipher it was a dream sequence probably should have been tipped off, okay? Granted, that is supposed to be the episode twist, but, like, you understand where I'm getting at, right? It's just, I don't know. In short, I think it's actually kind of concerning. I think it's actually concerning that I can't really tell the good episodes from the bad episodes of this series. But then again, most of the complaints that were made towards the bad episodes are very minor, much like the ones that I make in this entire series. They're not really super duper official, honestly. I'm gonna be completely honest here. It's just like, oh, one of the boys is sexist, and the Siguro Lincoln's getting graded the same as the other guys. It's like, okay, that's a plot hole with the episode. Not really anything to really say about that. That's it. That's literally the entire thing. But apparently people consider these episodes bad for some reason. Like, again, I just can't decipher anything between these episodes now. It's all just one big lump of Loud House. And so that was basically my reviews of the Loud House. And, well, I don't typically be serious in these conclusion segments, but in conclusion, the Loud House is a very mediocre show. That's all I gotta say about it. Even when it comes to its worst episodes, I can't decipher anything because it's just, I don't know, it's just some kind of boredom washes over me. And it's just like, okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. It doesn't feel like anything's really substantial per se. And of course, something very important I need to mention here is that I wasn't expecting Kingdom Hearts level storytelling with any of these episodes. Heck, I wasn't even expecting any kind of serialization, let's be real here. But as cartoon episodes, it's definitely a really bad idea using the most generic fucking vanilla plots imaginable. And sadly, I think that's the main problem I have with the series. And I understand, again, this is the first season and all that. It obviously gets better. It gets also a whole lot worse. That is my problem. I wanted to tackle the Loud House fairly. I feel like I did a decent enough job doing so. So, yeah, really. The sad part is that, again, one of the boys, despite being a really bad episode, is really nothing. Meanwhile, apparently, the first episode is widely regarded as a pretty damn good episode. So it's just like, again, in conclusion, I don't know about this series. I don't see myself really talking about the Loud House anymore past this episode, and I don't really see myself actually talking about the Loud House much going forward. Maybe one more cringe fest, but that's about it. And sorry to sound pretentious here, but I feel like the intrigue into why those episodes worked per se is because I knew nothing about the Loud House. But now that I actually do know stuff about the Loud House, I'm unsure if I can really give a good cringe fest from this point forward. Especially considering the fact that a lot of the images were just the same from the last one, with really the only exception being the video at the very end. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm done here. So, thank you all for watching the 700 subscriber special to the very end, and I hope to see you all next time when I have more things and stuff to talk about. Goodbye.